Good evening and welcome to Dungog Shire's council meeting on the 6th of September 2025. It's an ordinary meeting. I declare the meeting open at 6 p.m. All local governments in New South Wales are now required to record their meetings to enhance transparency in decision making and to improve public access. Please be advised that this meeting is being audio recorded and live streamed on Facebook, and that the recording will be available on Council's webpage 24 hours post the meeting. The opinions or statements made during the course of the Council meeting are those of the particular individuals and not the opinions or statements of Council. Dungog Shire acknowledges the traditional owners and cultural custodians of country in Dungog Shire, including the Gringi, Gewal, Wanarua and Warramai peoples. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. General Manager, I see we have no apologies or leave of absence. We're all here. Is there any declaration of interest?
Mr. Mayor, we do have one declaration of interest from yourself. So that relates to item 9.2 on tonight's agenda, the DA 44/2023 for a 6-lot subdivision at 83 Fotheringay Road, Clarence Town. The Mayor will leave the chamber during the discussion and debate on the matter and not participate in debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Can I have a motion confirming the minutes of our August meeting? So moved. Councillor Lay, seconded Councillor Caravans. Councillor Lay.
I move this motion.
I'll put the motion, no comment. All in favour, aye. Against, motion carried. Is there any matters arising from those, from the minutes? No matters arising. I'll put the motion, all in favour of no matters arising. Press on. The Mayoral minute, if we move to page 24, Mayoral minute. This one is I put forward to recognise the sculpture on the farm and council support for community events. We'll need to come together with a policy on how we do this, and this is part of this, right? So we recognise the value adding to the community of our investment into the sculpture on the farm. It was a great success. I came twice and the place was packed. And we will continue to support these community events where value adding to the Shire is demonstrated, either via increased tourism or community engagement. And we will confirm that in the future council will support, that the support will depend on available funding, of course, and the reasons why support is required for any particular event. So look, the sculpture on the farm was a huge success, and we'll get subsequent requests from other organisations looking for our support, which we're happy to do. But later on we will go through a process of developing that the mechanism how we divvy that money depending on how we've got it. So that was the reason behind this Mayoral minute. I'll put the Mayoral minute. Anyone want to speak to it? Councillor Lay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll just say we're talking through local businesses here in Dungog. The voice that they had was unified in that this event, not only was it a big boost for them, but it was over a number of days as well. So it was a good event, I think, for council to sponsor, and hopefully wish them to return next year.
Thank you, Councillor Lay. Councillor Caravans.
Certainly. It was an absolute delight to be able to attend Sculpture on the Farm. I went to the opening on Friday night, and then Sam and the kids and I went to see all of the sculptures on the Saturday, and you could just feel the uplift in town and the excitement of the visitors, the talent, the creativity, and the people were certainly putting in their diaries for the next event, which I believe this event will be a biannual event. It does take a lot to put on an event like this. So for council to be able to support the volunteers in putting this event on and securing the funding in order to be able to do this it's something that fills you with pride.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very good. It I've said what I said. Like I met people come up on the train from Newcastle and walked up there. They were all buzzing. So it was a great, and what it shows, I guess, is the events like that bring tourism, vibrancy and greater opportunity for the Shire. People see it. Anyway, enough. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. The next Mayoral minute is what I'm going to do with this one is amend the motion so that the first mayoral minute will concentrate on the first dot point, which is the block grant funding, and then when we deal with that, I'll adjust the mayoral minute so that we deal with the regional motions, which are 2 to 8 as a second mayoral minute. So the first mayoral minute is the block grant funding as demonstrated on page 26. And I might ask Councillor Lowe to speak to this this motion. Councillor Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion is that Local Government New South Wales calls on the New South Wales Government to increase the quantum of block grant funding to address the impact of escalating road maintenance costs and to revise the block grant formula to remove the national classification of local government as a determinant of funding allocations for main roads. The rationale for this motion, I'll read some of this and talk to it as well. Prior to 1995, the New South Wales Government fully funded all main roads throughout the state. That year, the most heavily trafficked roads were reclassified as state roads, and those of secondary importance were transferred to councils as regional roads, which are now only partly funded by the state. This dumped over 18,000 kilometres of main roads upon councils. The New South Wales Government provides funding for maintenance of regional roads with a formula-based block grant, which is what this motion is about. And under the repair program, they provide 50-50 funding towards the cost of rebuilding them. Councils receive no new funding source to pay the required 50% for the repair program. These changes have been very adverse for Dungog Shire, as we are the only council area in New South Wales that does not have any state roads. And the ongoing funding for regional roads is inadequate in our case. We can rightly claim to be the worst affected LGA in New South Wales, and there are numerous shortcomings with these arrangements as follows. The block grant. The block grant only provides Dungog Council with about half of what is needed for whole of life maintenance. The funding formula considers the obvious maintenance aspects, such as road length and traffic factors, which correctly relate to the function of any particular road. However, the inclusion of national classification of local government as a determinant results in urban and city councils like Maitland and Port Stephens receiving significantly more than Dungog Shire receives as an urban council as a rural council for the very same roads. Dungog LGA receives $11,000 per kilometre for its 122 kilometres of regional roads. Port Stephens receives $19,000 per kilometre for its 56 kilometres of regional roads, and the City of Maitland receives $36,000 per kilometre for its 19 kilometres. The essential thing here is it's the same road entering each LGA, and the funding changes at the Shire boundary. To complete this gloomy picture, the quantum of block grant funding has never been increased in real terms to meet the escalating costs of road maintenance, and those main roads which have been rehabilitated since 1995 under the program will deteriorate faster than they should. And talking about whole of life maintenance, one of the essential features of a bitumen road is that after about 10 to 12 years, the bitumen surface, the seal itself, about 10 millimetres thick, becomes brittle and clacks form, which allows water to enter the pavement. And unfortunately, what this means is potholes. So where you see potholes, by and large, you can generalise the fact that the road has not been resealed as it should have been. Now to the repair program. The repair program is an acronym for Repair and Improvement of Regional Roads. The state provides funding for rehabilitation projects on a dollar-for-dollar basis with councils. In order to win government funding, repair projects must satisfy a cost-benefit analysis process in competition with projects from our neighbours, and traffic counts play a major part in the assessment. In fact, only about 20 kilometres of the regional roads network in Dungog Shire records sufficient traffic counts to qualify for any funding under the program. These are the three sections between Clarence Town and the Shire boundary, the Gostwick turnoff on the Shire boundary, and the Wirragullah intersection and Dungog. The other 100 kilometres that we have can only be maintained unless we pay more than the stipulated 50% contribution to win projects. And since 2015, Dungog Shire has paid twice what we should to satisfy the cost-benefit analysis in each case. Furthermore, the repair program projects only update about 1 kilometre of road annually, so it would take 122 years to rebuild the network when roads last about 30 years on design and 50 years if you're lucky. So the conclusions in this is, in the 30 years since this policy was introduced, Dungog Shire has diverted about $20 million in today's terms away from the rehabilitation of local roads, and that's with the repair program. And due to the shortcomings of the block grant, we will struggle to properly maintain those sections of regional roads that have been rehabilitated with special grants from state and federal governments. This policy for regional roads has the greatest impact in rural and regional areas, as every aspect of the New South Wales government funding model is biased towards larger centres of population rather than the function of a road and its whole-of-life maintenance. Despite this distortion, the inadequacy of block grant funding affects every LGA that is blessed with regional roads. As further testament to the failure of this policy, today only about 1%, that is 180 kilometres of the New South Wales regional roads network is being replaced annually under the repair program. It is a sad indictment upon successive New South Wales government that this unworkable policy affecting over 18,000 kilometres of main roads has not been addressed despite numerous submissions and government reviews. I commend the recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Lowe. Does any other councillors like to comment? Councillor Crothers.
I'd just like to thank Councillor Lowe for that very comprehensive and very clear report on what exactly we're looking at here. It's clear that the current state of affairs are not fit for purpose.
Thank you, Councillor Crothers. Look, I'd like to say, obviously, Councillor Lowe has been over this and understands it perfectly well, and people listening in could get confused. The bottom line is Dungog Council is at the bottom of the pile, right? We get the short straw every time, and I've been on the radio and TV today trying to express that. It's a good point that Councillor Lowe's got in here. You know, you just have to look at the figures there on Dungog getting 11,000 per K for its 122 kilometres of road, Port Stephens getting 20 grand, and Maitland getting 37 for 19 Ks. You know, it just makes you, it's unbelievable. The most frustrating thing is that we've been on this for some time and we haven't got any traction at this stage. And I can't believe that the state government is not listening to this. And if they aren't listening, they better start listening. So well done, Steve, on what you, Councillor Lowe, on what you put together. And I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. The second part of the Mayoral minute goes to the ones are shown on page 26, 2 to 8. Now, these are regional motions from the Hunter Joint Organisation, and that's at the 10 councils. And certainly there's something in each of those, they're quite detailed, but will affect us in some ways. And so we're happy to join with the Hunter Joint Organisation in this because there's more strength in numbers. But one of the points is if we go to point 7, they're now supporting us in our call for reclassification of roads to critical infrastructure. We haven't won so far in the argument about why our ordinary roads should be state roads, and but we will keep banging on about that. But roads to Chichester Dam are a no-brainer to us. Here's a state-owned critical infrastructure. It's supplying, a very large portion of the drinking water for the rest of the Lower Hunter, and we are looking after that road. I mean, everyone I speak to says it's a no-brainer. The state government should get on board with this, and we'll be pushing as hard as we can. So, look, I'll put the motion that we support the regional motions 2 to 8 as indicated, and they will go down to the that we can debate at the Local Government New South Wales Conference later in the year. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. Thanks very much. We're up to page 33. Yeah, 33. 9.1. DA Delegation Authorities and Tracking, moved by Councillor Caravans and seconded Councillor Campbell. Councillor Caravans.
I move the recommendation.
Is there any comments, further comments? Councillor Dowling. Councillor Lowe.
Mr Mayor, I would just like to say on this report how it has improved over the years since our director sitting in the chair opposite has been with us. And I would just say that we should commend him for the excellent work that he's done while he's with us. Express disappointment that he's moving on, but understandably wish him every success in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe. Councillor Dowling, did you want to make a comment? Are you right? Okay, so I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? We need a division, sorry. Councillor Dowling, Councillor Patton, Councillor Crothers, Councillor Lay and Councillor Campbell and myself in favour. Thank you. We move on to, I think I need to leave the room here.
Yep. Chair's even the right height. Good evening. As Deputy Mayor, I have assumed the chair for the next item. We are up to report item 9.2 DA 44/2023, 6-lot subdivision at 83 Fotheringay Road, Clarence Town. I call for a motion.
Move recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Lay. Do we have, sorry, any speakers? One job. Sorry, Councillor Lowe.
It's your moment of glory, Deputy Mayor.
Practice makes perfect. I need some more practice.
This interesting development, this one, on a site that has flooding impacts. All of the issues have been addressed in the report, and it's a very interesting one to read for those who aren't really that familiar with planning, to see all of the issues that have to be considered and under the EPA Act, Section 79C. And I would draw people's attention to page 67, which shows the probable maximum flood depth as it affects the property. And it's quite interesting to see how the lots are shown there and how housing can be affected. But of course, the default planning level, the flood planning level in New South Wales, is the 1% annual exceedance probability plus half a metre freeboard. And so that is being applied to the lot to the north there. I think that's lot number 6. And I just make a comment that during the exhibition of our structure plan for Clarence Town, some adverse comments were made about the impact of that policy as it might have on the mayor. And they're very typical accusations that are made against councillors in local government, as if we are gaining benefit from being on the council. It was an independent body that recommended that smaller subdivision size, but as we've seen by what's exemplified on page 67, that the opportunity to do a lot of that is extremely limited. and it remains to be seen how this subdivision will impact on the very proposal that had the reduced lot size along Fotheringay Road on the eastern side of the road because of the issue of reticulated water and the possibility of connecting to the sewerage. And so that remains to be seen. And of course, as we have many individual landholders, it'll be a matter of whether they all can agree on a method of providing those services. So I just commend this recommendation to everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe. Do we have any other councillors who wish to speak in support of the motion? Any against? There being no further debate and being a planning determination matter, I call for a division of all those in favour. Councillor Dowling, Councillor Lowe, Councillor Patton, Councillor Lay, Councillor Campbell and myself. Thank you, GM.
You.
I declare the motion carried. Thank you, councillors. General Manager, can someone please recall the Mayor to resume the chair?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
We move to page 76, 10.1, Crown Land Reserve, Paterson Courthouse and Police Station. Just give me a second here. Look, I'll move the alternate recommendation to this 10.1, and the recommendation is: number one, council permit the president of the Paterson Historical Society Incorporated and Courthouse Museum to address council on the matter. Point two, defer consideration of the report and that a meeting with the Paterson Historical Society be arranged on site with inspection of the Paterson Courthouse and Museum. And three, further consider the report and with any updates at a future council meeting following the on-site meeting and inspection. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Carruthers. There's obviously a lot to be digested in this, and certainly where the Crown Land themselves sits in this debate. But we can have that. So the first part of the motion is that Dr. Archer address the chamber. So
Just keep, so you've got to vote on that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Thank you. And against? Nil. Motion carried. Now, Cameron.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes, mate.
Well, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. I wanted to explain a bit about why we're here and where we're at with the Paterson Historical Society. In the early 70s, the Dungog Shire approached the Paterson Progress Association about doing something with the disused courthouse in Paterson. The Progress Association talked about it for a fair while, and then in early 74, a Paterson Preservation Society was established, and it agreed to take on the building as a museum, and there was a flow of activity, and the museum was opened in November 1974, and the keys to the building were handed from the council to the society, and it's been operating since then. And we had our 50th anniversary last year, and we've now published a small booklet which will be launching at our Christmas function in November. You're aware of the background of this matter. I reviewed the paper, and I'm concerned that if the primary recommendation had been adopted, it would ultimately spell the death knell for the society compared to us working collaboratively with council. The society's worked getting many grants over the last 50 years, and it has got the building in pretty smart condition, if you ask me, but I look forward to showing you all when you can get down to see it. And that's been a collaboration between council and the society. I don't think we've ever had any concerns and issues. We've always worked them through. We've raised money, we've got grants, and here we are. We've got a great facility there. On the papers there, the identification of the building is actually the Courthouse Museum. The police station, when that first happened, it was using a room within the office, within the courthouse building. The police station police then built their own station attached to the watch house. So that's why it might still have the police station in the literature, in the council papers. One, we get the impression from the briefing paper that it's in poor condition, but we think it's in pretty good condition. We've had a few people inspect it over the years, and just recently, actually, Crown Lands has taken an interest in it for some reason, but as we know why that is. So we don't have any big maintenance backlog. The issue of damp, a lot of work we did about 20 years ago was take all the soil around the outside of it and get good drainage underneath it. And then COVID, we got all this mould, and I immediately dived in underneath to see if it was damp, but it wasn't damp there. It was just the air was so still and the place had been closed up, and we had all this mould on the walls. But we immediately got a contractor in to clean it up, and then fortunately the council was able to help us with that payment. We've since put in fans, and we're also keeping all the doors open so that you get some earth circulation through the place. So that's the mould stuff. But yeah, these are the things you have to keep an eye on. It's a public building. You have to make sure those things are all sorted out. Just last year, we got 18,000 from the Community Building Partnership Program from the state government, and we've renewed the floor coverings. We converted all the lights to LED because I thought that we should do that to save energy, and we've also undertaken some painting.
1 minute.
And we don't have a lot of works ahead. I see what's in the papers about money for damp control, but that's not necessary. Internal painting, that's our next priority, but it's not urgent, but we've got that on our list for grants. And in terms of risk, I think the biggest risk, if the primary consideration went ahead, would be to the public profile of council, etc. That wouldn't be very helpful. We look forward to working with council to continue the current arrangements in some form or other. We think we need to probably have a closer collaboration on plan of management, something like that. But we look forward to hosting an on-site visit in due course. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mercer. Okay, we move on to page 81, 10.2 Works Progress Report. Moved Councillor Patton, seconded Councillor Caravans. Councillor Patton.
Move the recommendation as noted.
Is there any discussion on it? If not,
Yes.
Sorry, Councillor Lowe.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we should note page 83, financing and resourcing. It states there that the internal and external resources remain under significant pressure due to the increased demands of capital works, fixing local roads, betterment programs, roads to recovery, ongoing maintenance requirements, and the impacts of the 4 declared natural disasters that have been experienced this year. So we should acknowledge the effort of the staff, especially with some recruiting difficulties, in continuing the works. As we'll see later on in the next report as to how we're travelling, you can understand why so many projects are being.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe. Is there any further comment? They're certainly highlighting that we're still several positions vacant as well, so well pointed out. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We move to page 85, Corporate and Customer Services, Statement of Investments. Councillor Dowling.
Move the recommendation, Mr.
The
Mayor.
second, Councillor Caravans. Councillor Dowling.
Yeah, so move the recommendation.
Is there any comment? No comment. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried.
Thanks.
We move to page 88, Works Cost Statement. Moved, councillor Carruthers, seconded councillor Lay. Councillor Carruthers.
I move the recommendation.
Is there any comment on this, on the work cost statement? Councillor Lowe, you happy there?
Well, Mr Mayor, if you look at page 89, it reiterates what I just said earlier on.
I just wanted to give you the opportunity to reinforce.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's very much appreciated that I get an opportunity to speak.
If no one else wants to speak, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We go to 12.1. Yeah, 12.1, page 91. The recommendation is there. Councillor Patton.
Mr Mayor, I propose to move an alternative recommendation with one additional one. So the first two do not change. The last one, I'll just read it out, that the general manager be authorised to update typographical corrections required at page 58 of the annexure items 3172 and 3173 regarding VIC operations. They are minor, and I move that the recommendation as proposed be adopted.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Carruthers. Councillor Lay, Patton, do you want to speak to it?
I will just say that it would be a sensible one to move with the item 3 to enable the correction to be made.
So any further comment? No, it's well picked up anyway. Okay, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We go to 12.2, page 95. Updates transport authorisation. There's recommendations there, moved by councillor Campbell and seconded councillor Carruthers. Councillor Campbell.
I move the recommendation.
Is there any discussion on it? Councillor, who's first? Who's got the red button? No one. Councillor Carruthers. Right.
I'm red. Just that it is good to see some changes in this space that will see more efficiencies. Waiting, every quarter to have a traffic committee meeting doesn't always benefit our community. So these changes, I think, will be a good thing moving forward for staff and the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any Councillor Lay, would you like to comment?
No, that's pretty much what I was going to say. Any reduction in streamlining processes and reduction of red tape, it can only be a good thing, and I'm happy to support it.
Very good. No further comment. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We move to 12.3, election of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Patton.
Mr Mayor, I move an alternative recommendation, and I'll just read it out. Item 1, the nominated candidates for the Deputy Mayor be permitted 3 minutes immediately prior to the Deputy Mayor election to outline to Council their plans for the role over their term. Item 2, the Deputy Mayor election be carried out by open voting, show of hands as outlined in Schedule 7 of the Local Government General Regulation 2021. Item 3, that the General Manager's returning officer declare the result of the elections, including the name of the candidate elected Deputy Mayor in accordance with Clause 13 of Schedule 7 of the Local Government General Reg 2021 and record the name of the minutes. And finally, that the term of the Deputy Mayor be determined by the Council as 1 year commencing on the 16th of October 25.
Thank you, Councillor Patton. Have we got a second? We have Councillor Lay. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. So I'll hand over to the General Manager.
Thank you, Councillor Patton. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Prior to the actual election process, as the Council has resolved to allow the nominated candidates a 3-minute speech to the Council, that would be in order of the receipt of the nomination. So I would ask for Councillor Lay to commence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you, Mr Mayor. The role of Deputy Mayor is not about holding extra power. It's about responsibility. It's about stepping in when the Mayor cannot be present and ensuring our Shire is represented strongly in Canberra, local government forums, and most importantly, here at home in our own community. From the beginning of my term on council, I've made community engagement a priority, making sure residents feel heard, represented, and part of the decisions we make. I see Deputy Mayor role as an opportunity to expand that work, to strengthen the way we connect with people, and to bring fresh energy into how we represent Dungog. I also believe, as this motion, amended motion has been passed, that the 12-month term is something that should be agreed on, and I also believe that this brings the experience that it can be shared. And so more of us have the chance to step into this position, build on our experience, and bring those lessons back to strengthen the work that we do here as a whole of council. Now, for me, the next 12 months are the right time. My professional commitment have given me the flexibility to dedicate this time to the role demands, and I want to give it my full attention while I have the opportunity to. If elected to Deputy Mayor, my focus will be clear: community engagement. This is the core of the role. As councillors, we make better decisions when residents are informed and involved. I want to continue building on the work that I've already started, being accessible, transparent, and make sure the voices in our community are held. Youth engagement, we are behind on this. Employment, housing, and education are the biggest barriers for young people in our shire. Now, while council can't necessarily solve these issues overnight, we can make sure their voices are heard and that our planning keeps their future in mind. And as someone who left a rural town myself when I was younger and has since returned to another rural town to raise a family, I know firsthand how important it is to make Dungog a place that young people want to stay. But if they can't, for those three reasons, and they do have to leave, a place that they can come back to and when it's their time to settle down. Investment in our region.
1 minute.
We need to make sure Dungog is a place that people see worth investing in, and where process of investing is simple and straightforward as possible. The Mayor shares this vision, and he's already taken very strong steps, and I commend him for that. And I'd be keen to support and build on that work. And the recent roundtable discussion chaired by Councillor Patton and the Mayor highlighted the appetite that exists for new opportunities here, and I believe we must keep that momentum going. Lastly is infrastructure and resilience. Now, roads remains the most issue raised with me, and as for many other councils, and I'm not going to go into that, but previously what Councillor Lowe was saying about the block grants and funding, it's definitely a forefront of what we're doing here at council. So I put myself forward as Deputy Mayor, not for extra authority, but the opportunity to take on those added responsibilities, to support the Mayor and to bring fresh energy and focus to this role. My priorities are community engagement, youth investment, housing and infrastructure, the foundations that will shape Dungog and into its future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Right on time. Thank you. I'll now ask Councillor Carruthers for her 3 minutes. Thank you.
Can you turn your mic off? Thank you, Councillor Lay. Thank you, Mr. GM. If elected as Deputy Mayor, my plans for this role are clear: to continue consistent advocacy to all levels of government and with key stakeholders, ensuring that issues faced by councils like ours are understood and work towards ensuring Dungog Shire receives the attention and sustainable funding it requires. 2, to represent our community alongside and where necessary in lieu of the Mayor, maintaining continuity of leadership and active engagement with residents and community groups and volunteers. To work constructively with all councillors, representing the trust residents place in us, ensuring that decisions are made in the best interests of our community. And to prioritise my time and availability, ensuring that the Deputy Mayor role is active, accountable and responsive to both council and community needs. Over the last 12 months, I've taken the responsibility of Deputy Mayor seriously, in addition to my councillor, committee, community and personal life commitments. I've remained committed to attending all possible meetings with the Mayor to stay across his workload and ensure I can step in when required. I have stepped in for the Mayor on several occasions, from the opening of the Bendolba Salisbury Rural Fire Brigade Women's Change Room, the National ALGA Conference, where of my own volition I secured a meeting with the Minister for Local Government, Regional Development and Emergency Management to raise our advocacy priorities and highlight funding challenges, to more recently during a visit from Senator Deb O'Neill, where we provided an update on the Clarence Town Bridge works. I've led roundtables including wildlife signage and reinstation of the Dungog Showground 355 committee camping, empowering the community to drive initiatives important to them, with also addressing broader issues such as road safety and tourism. I have joined the Mayor in a number of other community-driven conversations, including a conversation with the Dungog High School principal around how to strengthen connections with students and create new avenues for young people to engage through community-led community builders initiatives. As Deputy Mayor, I have also participated in the housing and infrastructure programs, ensuring that our community voices are incorporated into the plans to position the Shire for sustainable growth while maintaining all the things we love about the centre of the universe we call Dungog Shire. Through these experiences, I have grown as a young leader, learning to navigate challenges, build relationships, and ensure Dungog's concerns are heard at every level of government and by all who will listen and won't listen. The positive feedback I've received reinforces the value of the work and the importance of Deputy Mayor, who is engaged, available, visible, and committed. Mayor and councillors, the Deputy Mayor role should be forward-looking, visible, and engaged. Over the past 12 months, I have demonstrated my commitment to doing just that, and I respectfully seek your support to continue serving for the year ahead so that together we can keep delivering for the people of Dungog.
Thank you, Councillor Carruthers, for making time as well. I'll now commence the election as returning officer under the Local Government General Regulation 2021, Schedule 7, which for interested community members is attached to the report tonight. So Council has resolved to do a show of hands in the election, which I'm very thankful for. So thank you, Council. So we take a vote in order of the receipt of the nominations. The first nomination received was Councillor Liam Lay. Can I have a show of hands to vote for Councillor Liam Lay as Deputy Mayor? Four hands. That being four and a majority of the council, I declare Councillor Liam Lay elected Deputy Mayor, Dungog Shire Council for the next 12 months. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Before I move on, to
Mr.
the next
Mayor,
one,
before you do,
Oh, sorry. I'd just like to congratulate Councillor Lay for the Deputy Mayor job, but certainly congratulate Councillor Carruthers. Did a fantastic job as Deputy Mayor, didn't miss a beat, stood up all the time with her family commitments as well. And so did a great job as C Ward as well. As C Ward is probably the most represented ward. Every meeting I've gone to, they've had a heap of people there. So well done, Councillor Carruthers, and Councillor Lay. I'm looking forward to working with you, mate, and we'll press on. I think we've got a good group of councillors here. I think we're turning the ship around, and we're getting the right people on the bus, as we've heard a few times. And so as long as we stay united with our goal of what we're trying to do, we'll get there. And so congratulations, and congratulations for your support too. Thank you. Very good. Move on. Next one will be paid. Oh, sorry, Councillor Lowe. So, sorry, mate. 12.4. Have I got this one? Sorry. 12.4, page 101. Councillor Carruthers, moving.
Yeah, certainly. I'd like to move an alternate recommendation for this one, Mr. Mayor, if I can. One, that Council requests the development of a sponsorship policy to be reported back to Council at the October meeting, including clear criteria and assessment process to guide the review and determination of requests for sponsorship of events and local community initiatives. Two, the policy is to ensure that fair and equitable allocations of funds from existing and future budgets, and to provide transparency and consistency in Council's decision making. Three, Council make a determination as to fund in full, in part, or to decline the request from Dungog District Chamber of Commerce following the establishment of the policy.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder to the motion? Councillor or Patton? Councillor Carruthers. Just speak to it.
Yeah, certainly. So I think in conversations I've had, to be able to support our community through sponsorship is something that's important to us all. It's certainly important to me, but we need to have some clear governance and guidelines around how we're doing that to ensure a fair process and equitable allocations of funds. We've got a budget we've got to look after, and we've got a community that we need to support. So having some good governance in place in order to do that, I think will enable a better outcome for all.
Are there any other speakers on the motion? Look, I'd just certainly like to say that this follows on from my first motion. I think on the support we gave the chamber, the sculpture on the farm, and we're certainly after that looking for a return on investment, as you like, which I think they clearly demonstrated. But it was quite obvious after that the people requesting funding have already come to me on a number of things, and we just need to put some guardrails around it. And no, clearly, as we do have a fund currently sitting at $8,000 to share with those particular groups that we feel will need it, and the policy we put together will give us a guidance as to where to spend that money. So if no one else has comment,
Can I just ask a question?
Sorry, yeah.
Through you, Mayor. Just a quick question, Councillor Carruthers. In terms of the sponsorship policy, with the time frame, you mentioned, October, didn't you? Yeah, I'm just for the minutes. I was just double checking that you said October. Thank you. We will reprioritise internally to meet that deadline. I understand the time commitment that the Chamber of Commerce would need in order to plan and prepare for that event. So it should come back to council in October. Thanks.
Yeah, because rightly, so I should have put that up as well. Like last year was a huge success, as you'll know, in the pouring rain, and we know there's only a few volunteers that do all the work. So anyway, I won't bang on about that. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We go to page 107, 12.5, positive community feedback. Moved Councillor Carruthers, seconded Councillor Campbell. Councillor Carruthers.
I move the recommendation. It's great to see that we are continuing to get some positive feedback from community for fixing roads. So congratulations to the team and well done. Keep the good work up.
Any further comments? No, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We get to page 110, 12.6, resolution tracking report. Councillor Patton, seconded Councillor Dowling. Councillor Patton.
I move that the recommendation be endorsed. I would like to note also the significant improvement which has happened over the last year in terms of driving down the number of outstanding ones, which is, I think, a very positive outcome. So I think congratulations to the council staff for that.
Thank you, Councillor Patton. Is there any other comments? Look, fully support. Look, those that have seen me at this used to be my favourite when the bloody thing was, when the thing was, we had a heap of them, right? And we were spinning tyres, but we've certainly moved on from there as Councillor Patton has picked up. Thank you. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. Page 124, notice of motion, Councillor Lay, second dwelling awareness campaign. Councillor Lay. Are you moving the motion?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got a seconder? Councillor Dowling. Councillor Lay, sorry.
So one of the biggest issues raised time and time again here in our shire is housing supply. It's no secret. And we all know this is a challenge, and it's a challenge that, again, is not going to be solved overnight, but it's an issue where every small practical step we can take does matter. And this motion seeks out to do exactly that. It's a simple, low cost and practical step forward. Secondary dwellings are sometimes called granny flats or dual occupancy. They're already permissible under New South Wales housing SEP in R1, E1 and MU1 zones in our shire. They represent a real and immediate opportunity for families, landowners and investors to make better use of existing residential blocks, to provide more affordable housing options and to support local businesses by increasing in-town population and as well as services that we have here. Now, a fair number of community members don't realise this opportunity already exists, or they're unsure how to proceed because the process can be quite overwhelming and complicated at times. And this was raised repeatedly during the Housing and Infrastructure Master Plan engagements that I attended here in Dungog. And it was also an outcome of the Clarence Town Structure and Streetscape Master Plan and one of the action points out of that. And since this is an ongoing conversation with residents. So this motion ensures that we close that gap. We're not creating new processes or increasing workload on staff. I'm simply asking for a report on the cost to run a communications campaign using council websites, social media, and other channels to make people aware of what already is possible, and how to continue down that step.
Thank you, councillor. Any other speakers on the motion? If there's not, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We go to 13.2, notice of motion. Again, council Lay, extension of temporary occupation policy to caravans. Council move, councillor Lay. Seconded, councillor Caravans. Councillor Lay.
So this motion builds on the important work that's already being undertaken in modernising our residential shared occupation policy. So the Mayoral Minute endorsed earlier this year was forward-thinking and practical, and it recognised the increased pressures faced by families building homes in our shire, as well as the cost increases and as well as the cost of living just in general increases. This is essentially to build on that Mayoral Minute and to provide greater flexibility while still ensuring safeguards remain in place. So this motion is a natural step. It asks that we extend the same principles of flexibility and fairness to caravan and camper vans. The reality is, in most cases, caravans are actually better equipped than sheds for temporary habitation. And by recognising that regulating caravans occupation during the construction of a dwelling, it creates consistency, fairness, and I think clarity. And I will say too, just on the clarity point, temporary caravan occupation is already happening across the shire. That is the reality of the situation. And so this motion simply recognises that, formalises it, and makes sure that residents know where they stand and how to do this appropriately moving forward.
Thank you, councillor Lay. Does anyone else want to speak on the motion? If not, I put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. Go to page 127, notice of 24-hour camping in rest areas. Moved councillor Lay, seconded councillor Caravans. Councillor Lay.
So council recently completed an expression of interest into the establishment of a dedicated caravan park here in Dungog, and unfortunately that did not proceed. What we cannot do now is wait for a perfect solution to appear. We need to act now with what we already have. So Frank Robertson Park shows us the way forward. By allowing 24-hour stays, we see positive feedback, more visitors stopping in town, and real benefits for our local business. It provides that flexibility, low-cost options can work in Dungog, and builds, most importantly, I think, on the openness of our town and how people are perceiving Dungog Shire. This motion is about building on that success. It asks council to look at the shire, at the assets we already have, rest areas, reserves, car parks, and ask a really simple question is, can we be using them better? Many of these sites already have services like toilets and bins, and in some cases, people are camping there informally currently. By formalising this, we can improve safety, set clear rules, and make Dungog more welcoming to travellers. Tourism, as we've talked about earlier in this meeting today, in our shire is growing rapidly. Events, outdoor recreation, and our natural attractions are drawing more and more people every event we hold. And I think you only have to look at the rodeo or the Dungog show and how they are just absolutely exploding at the moment. Providing 24-hour RV camping options will encourage visitors to stay longer, hopefully spend more money locally, support our small business, especially during those peak times and events, reduce unsafe or managed camping by providing designated areas with clear rules, show that Dungog is open, welcoming, and ready to grow its visitor economy. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Lay. Is there any other comments, councillor Caravans?
Certainly, just noting that this is for a report to be brought back to council. Camping in the area is limited, so we need to look at other ways in which we can facilitate that, but we do need to keep top of mind safety and how to encourage positive behaviour in these sites, and it is something that we need to consider very closely.
Thank you. Certainly, as it does point out in the third dot point, any of these things could be a cost to council with our reduced staffing, and so I see that's part of dot point 3. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Oh, sorry, councillor Lowe. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I just think we should acknowledge that while we've been talking that the limited camping and caravan opportunities, we should acknowledge the work being done at the showground. and thank that committee for their efforts to take up the gambit and build something and run something on everyone's behalf.
Yeah, thanks, councillor. Yeah, that 355 committee and the subcommittee of it is going through that process and making sure they're ticking those boxes, and they're getting close to that mark. So well picked up. No further comment. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. We go to page 129, committee outside organisation reports. Move. Councillor Carruthers, second Councillor Lay. Councillor Carruthers.
I move the recommendation.
Is there any other speakers? I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Motion carried. Okay, now let me see where we're up to. Close council at page 131. Yep. So in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and the Local Government General Regs 2005, business can be dealt with in a closed part of a meeting. Council has resolved to move into closed council to consider the business identified. The media and public are now excluded from the meeting on the basis that the business to be considered is classified as confidential under the provisions of section 10A(2) of the Local Government Act. The audio recording and live streaming of the meeting will now cease.
Mr Mayor, point of order, we haven't voted. I move that we move to closed council.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe, for picking me up again. Is there a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Carruthers. I put the motion that we move to closed council. All in favour? Against? So motion carried. I won't repeat it again, but the media and public are now excluded from the meeting on the basis of business to be considered is classified as confidential under the provision section 10A. The audio recording and live streaming will now cease and resume again at open council meeting.